It is another beautiful day in Ohio, and this is kind of, instead of a back-to-back like lap time something, we're just going to talk about these two bikes. My 2021 Kailub Russell Factory Edition. This has been my gold standard for four-strokes, my favorite combination of power, weight, handling. And this bike, I did a few things to it. I've got the older style cone valve spring forks on it, and I've got a full Akrapovic exhaust. Of course, I have the Pro component shock on the back, and I had back in 21 you could get the myKTM Connectivity Unit, so I have a map in here that's dialed back. It's my 250F map for woods riding, and green mat's always stock. I'm hoping KTM will continue to support it. It's not working right now, but it still has the old map in. I can't tune it or change it, and if I disconnect it, it'll just go back to the stock one. But I like having that ability to tune it to take engine braking out and that, which I did on it. But this bike has been so fun to ride. I've had it over, well, it's going on 4 years, 3.5 years. It's got 31 hours on it. It's got the original AT81 tires on it. They're pretty much done, but it still works. And I just like the feel of this bike, man. It has always felt really good. I've had some of the newer chassis, not 350s, but the 450 factory editions, and I've always really enjoyed this bike. There's a thinness to it. It's lightweight. It's playful. Holds the fuel low. I like XCFs, kickstand, 6-speed, and this chassis just works, and it won a lot of championships. This is my brand new 25 350XCF. Now, when they went to the new chassis in 23, everything got a lot stiffer. Definitely could notice that. But this 25, I was excited to try because it has the new, more compliant chassis. And this engine is just, wow, it is probably my favorite four-stroke engine of all time. It's got so much low, it's got plenty of low to mid, and the mid to top is so strong, linear, easy to ride, and it is just fun. It's got a playful factor to it. Definitely has a little more low to mid character. This feels like a beefed up 250F. This one feels like a mini 450, and without that kind of inertia. And I know I've ridden one with the my buddy Dave's 24 FC350 with the CUO unit. We dial the engine braking back. I've got one on order for this, and I'm to do the same thing. I'll dial engine braking back, and dry, slippery days going in the woods, I'll probably use the wet gravel map. But when it's disc up and hard or deep and loamy, I'll put the sand or the hard pack dry map in there and let it be a little bit more responsive. But this bike has stock suspension, and the bike's got about 2.2 hours on it now, 2.5, so it's not even technically broke in yet, but it feels great right out of the showroom floor. I've opened the clickers to what I call the comfort setting. I go 1218 is stock, or 1218 is stock up front, compression rebound. I go to 18 compression, 24 rebound, and on the shocks, 15-15, 1.5 is the usual setting. I go to 20 compression, 20 rebound, and 2.5 high speed. That cushions it up for this kind of GNCC off-road stuff I'm doing today. And on a slow vet track, it'll still work. But if I'm doing a little bit more jumpy track, I'll go back into the stock settings. I can even go a little stiffer too. So got the full Akrapovic on it because it's quieter, it's lighter, and it has a spark arrestor. I like all those three things. And the performance is good. The bike runs strong. So we'll start out with the Kailub Russell, the original. Still has the separate buttons, which is kind of nice. And I also like the skinnier front fender. In fact, I have put the skinnier front fender on my newer KTMs before, just to give it a little lighter feel up front. See, that doesn't have quite that low end. But this is geared a tick higher, I think, than the new one. But this power is so good. Just a little bit of that roll-on torque feel is just a little bit different compared to the new one. Has just a little bit more meat there. I don't think the peak power is any different. And I think on the little higher speed choppy stuff, you can get a little more stability out of the new engine or the new chassis, but this one has such good compliance. And get that agile feel. Spinning, slippery. It'll just rev and rev. But there is a playfulness about this bike. Now let's go try the new one. Different foot pegs. Look at how much wider that fender is. These struts go way farther forward. But this one in the green map, yeah, right away. This one even has quick shifter. Yeah, this has that more low to mid. Once you're revving, maybe, I think the peak power might not be a big difference, but boy, that jumping is right there. That's what you feel. Now, because I open the clickers, this thing's pretty plush feeling. And even as you feel the kind of the braking chop, feel a little more of it. But again, this chassis is brand new, but it feels good right away. Now, the one thing is, I think on this one, I have never gotten the quick shifter to work, but I think it actually works a little bit on this one. And still, you gotta push up on it too hard. I don't really know where that would be in it. I guess you can adjust them with the shifter. That worked. But riding these two bikes back to back, the number one thing that stands out is the engine in this. This engine is amazing. It's just so much fun. I got a 450 factory edition. I love 450s. And this thing is so beefy, and it still has that playful character to it, which I think is kind of nice, because you don't get heavy in the when the RPMs go up. The bike doesn't get heavy, and it feels light. Whatever they did to them, I think they updated the maps in 24, but man, it is a fun engine. This one's more like a beefed up 250F. You got to kind of clutch it a little more. This definitely is geared a little taller. I know they switched gears. This one this year, I think they were 47s last year. They're 1450s now. And I kind of like the gearing, and I've had it on the two Moto tracks so far. This one, sometimes on the Moto track, third is too tall and second's too low, so this one might be better with a little bit lower gearing to use third more. But I love the playful agility of this. I love the feel of the chassis. This one, I think they got the chassis a lot closer in terms of compliance and comfort. These new forks are excellent. The shock setting is really good, and man, I'm enjoying them both. I don't really have any plans to get rid of this one yet. I like them both. I like 350s. Power, weight, handling, such a great combination. But another fun day. 2 thumbs up. KTM 350s, or I should say Austrian 350s, because it doesn't matter if it's gas, Husky, or KTM.